And obviously we need to look at how we can address that imbalance that we have, and obviously create and grow the power for more South Africans. You don't spatially, economically, and socially, and we need to bridge that divide. I believe we can do that by focusing on creating equalities of opportunity in South Africa, where everybody gets access to the same opportunities, start up a good education, good healthcare, a good safe neighborhood, and access to decent jobs and the support that we need. And certainly working with the agricultural agro-processing master plan, working with the industry levies themselves, where a portion of that goes towards uplifting and supporting small-scale farmers to be able to compete in the market value chains, are all massively with our blended finance scheme that we have in order to access patient and well-priced capital for emerging farmers, absolutely important. And the work the industry itself is doing as well in the empowerment. Organizations like Grain SA, Agri SA and others that are actually on a ground level doing the extension services, partnering and mentoring small-scale farmers to move into the commercial space, I think is going to see that, and that has got to be our challenge. We've got to move that 10% participation rate to at least 20% in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, this also a first for the Government of National Unity. Let's reflect on the GNU almost a year later in terms of where we find ourselves. And I know very well that Apex was putting the economic growth in what you are pushing for as the GNU. Where are we? What would give us a sense of the success of this GNU?
Well, I don't think we've got anything to celebrate in the economic growth space at this stage. None of us can sit and look at 0.3% and say that we're happy with that. It's not a good story to tell. And that is why the economic growth agenda and the reform agenda has to now be the number one priority of the Government of National Unity. Every single department, every single ministry should be looking at their particular sector and say, what can we do to cut red tape? What can we do to improve government performance in that sector? What can we do to grow the economy and create jobs leveraging our sector? And we have to do this across the board. If we don't get the economic reforms that we need as well around key strategic things like the transport, our ports and that going, if we don't ensure that we are an attractive investment destination, we're going to continue to flounder in this low economic growth. We've got a low growth, high debt, high unemployment problem. Minister Gondongwana is out there with the budget now addressing the debt problem and trying to get on top of that, but we need economic growth. There's no substitute for economic growth.
I have to let you go, Minister, but briefly, just give us a sense of where are we right now in terms of aviation flu. There's that playing itself out with food and mouth diseases as well. There's a concern around that. Are we in any way planning in line with some of these developments?
Well, for the first time ever, we're going to be doing a mass vaccination of avian flu, and we've been working with the Poultry Association in South Africa to start that, to hopefully contain avian flu before it devastates any of our flocks here in South Africa. And I'm looking very forward to that. The department's hired 50 temporary officers to assist us with that vaccination program, and we're working with FMD. The department has set aside 72 million rand to procure vaccines from Botswana. We obviously should be producing our own, but in the short term we're going to have to get from Botswana. Those will arrive this week, and working again with the red meat industry services body, with industry players, as well as some of the feedlots. We're going to start a feedlot vaccination program and start vaccinating in KwaZulu-Natal, and using vaccination as an attempt to try and get that under control. However, we do need cooperation, both from the farming sector themselves, adhere to the rules and regulations around auctions and the movement of animals. I'm publishing and gazetting a new stringent set of animal movement regulations, as well as regulations governing feedlots and auction houses. Those need to be adhered to, and I'll be taking that particular plan to Cabinet in the next fortnight, and obviously calling on the Minister of Police, the Home Affairs Minister from a Border Management Authority, as well as municipal police and traffic services to help us to man roadblocks, to ensure that those regulations are being adhered to. Biosecurity has to be everybody's responsibility in South Africa. It's costing us a huge amount of money, A, for the vaccines, but also in lost opportunity.